Okay, welcome everyone as we learn the Mishna Yomis for Sunday evening, Shvur Shechal by Tisha B'Av, as we are holding in the first parak with Mishnah Vav and Mishnah Zayin, learning Lili Nishmas Rabbi Rachim Gershon ben Tzvi Yehud Lefu Shleim Feli Yomish Bechayesar, and the schus of the family of Ram ben Yom Benish ben Malki Yudis and his family was supported by the Fisher family, Lili Nishmas Basi Rabas Rabbi Shlomo ben Avram Alevi Perel Bas Ruvain, then Neshama should have an Aliyah by the Klugman family, and Lili Refu Shalema for my Shver Vigdir Aryeh ben Rivka. So Mishnah Vav tells us, Mishnah Vav tells us, we know that you can't take off Truma on Yom Tov because you could do it before. And since you could do it before, you can't do it on Yom Tov because it's Mirzek Masakin. It looks like you're fixing. The question is, what about taking challah, which you have to do on Yom Tov because you make the dough on Yom Tov? And the same thing, what about the Zroy al Chayayim Vakeva, the right foreleg, the cheeks, and the maw, when you shech the animal on Yom Tov? So Beishami Aimim Eimoy Lichin Chala Matanas L'Kayim B'Yom Tov, you cannot bring the challah and the matnas kuna to a kain on Yom Tov. Bein shehurma me'emesh, whether you do the removal yesterday before Yom Tov, bein shehurma me'ayim, whether you do it on Yom Tov. Beisil matir, Beisil says you're allowed to. Amla Beishamai, so Beishamai says, well, it's analogous. Gzei Rishava, Chala Matanas Matan L'Kain, Chala, and the Suraya Chayayim Akeva is a gift to the Kain, or Truma Matan L'Kain. Kishem Shem Alichan as a Truma, just like you can't take Truma on Yom Tov, because we're afraid that even if you separated the Truma before Yom Tov, if you're going to bring it to the Kayin on Yom Tov, then another time you might come to separate it on Yom Tov, which you're not allowed to do, because it's like fixing, and that could be done before Yom Tov. So just like you can't bring Truma on Yom Tov, Kach Eima Lichan Es HaMatana, so you also can't bring the Chala, you can't bring the Zraya Chayayim Vakeb. So Amrlan Beisil, so Beisil says no comparison. Look, Im Amartem B'Truma, that's because Sheina Zakai B'Haramasa. That's because you're not allowed to be Mafresh Truma on Yom Tov, because you could have done it before Yom Tov, and therefore you're not allowed to do it because it's Mirzek Masakin, and therefore we don't allow you to bring it to the Kayin, even if you removed it before Yom Tov. Tomer B'Matanas Shezakai B'Haramasa. The matanas, since you make the dough on Yom Tov, you're allowed to separate the challah on Yom Tov. And since you shech the animal on Yom Tov, you're allowed to separate the zoyah chayayim v'keva, and therefore you could bring it to the kayin on Yom Tov. Now, although we're allowed to do many malachas for food preparation, certain things we can't do for food preparation. For example, you're not allowed to grind wheat on Yom Tov, even though you're doing it for food preparation. But since normally when you grind wheat, you do a lot, so therefore they didn't allow you to do grinding of wheat even if you would do a small amount. But that's only grinding of wheat, which could be done before Yom Tov. But the preparation of salt, where they had to crush the salt and make it small because they had big pieces of salt, although it could be done by Yom Tov, that's generally not done in a large amount. And spices, you have to do before Yom Tov, because on Yom Tov, because if you do it before Yom Tov, it's going to lose its potency. So Beishami Aimim Tavlin spices, which is a very strong reason to allow on Yom Tov, Nidoichen ben Modach Shaletz. You could pound, but you should make a little deviation. You should use a pestle of wood instead of a pestle of rock. Va'melech, salt, which really you could have done before Yom Tov, there you could only crush it b'pach by using an inverted jug, or be'etz ha'parer, or a wooden spoon. Now, Beisil ups the ante. Beisil Oimrim, Tavlin, since you have to do it on Yom Tov because beforehand it would lose its potency. Nidaychen kedarchen. It could be crushed in a normal fashion, b'madach shel even, with a pestle of stone. V'amelech, salt, okay, you could have done it before, but since it's done only in a small amount, so that you could do it just one step down, b'madach shel eitz, with a pestle of wood. Okay, now, first of all, we want to thank everybody for joining us. Also, I want to tell you that the fascinating Gemara in Gittin will continue tomorrow.